Welcome to State of the Offense, your unbiased coverage of your favorite team's offense, the New York Jets. At this point of the year where there are so many unknowns, I believe that Jets fans should be excited about their offense going into the season. Last year, the Jets finished 25th in total offense, 15th in passing, 26th in rushing, and 29th in scoring, which earned them a 7-10 record. In the skill positions, the Jets bring back all of their starters from last season except for Elijah Moore, who went to Cleveland. In the offseason, the Jets added new playmakers to the team, including quarterback Aaron Rodgers and wide receivers Allen Lazard and Mecole Hardman. Most fantasy football shows will only mention skill players, but at State of the Offense, we look at the entire offensive unit. We start in the trenches by analyzing the condition of the offensive line. On the offensive line, the Jets will bring back all of their key contributors from last year. Veteran left tackle Dwayne Brown returns for his second season with the Jets, but is 16th overall in the NFL. The three-time All-Pro graded at a 77 last season in 12 games. His 77 rated as the 25th best left tackle in the game. Brown will be a free agent after 2023. Alongside Brown is left guard Laken Tomlinson, who debuted with the Jets in 2022. He rated as the Jets' best offensive lineman with an 82 grade. He also played all 17 games and had a 99.8% snap share. He was the fifth best left guard in football. The Jets have Tomlinson secured on contract through 2024. Connor McGovern is returning for his fourth season in New York. Last year, he graded at a 78, which placed him as the 10th best center in the league. The Jets used the 43rd pick in the draft, though, on Wisconsin center Joe Tippmann. McGovern's contract is up at the end of the year, so the Jets may be moving along from him to go with Tippmann in 2024. Elijah Vera Tucker is returning for his third season as a Jet and is projected to start at right guard. He graded at an 80, seeing action in the first 7 games. His season ended prematurely with a triceps injury. His 80 grade would place him as the number 10 right guard in the league. Mekhi Becton is expected to be back next season from a knee injury that he suffered in the preseason. He is currently listed as the starting right tackle. In 2021, Becton graded at an 80, which would place him in the top 12 right tackles in the league. Becton's contract is up after the season. For the 2023 season, the Jets have a pretty solid group going into camp. A return of Mekhi Becton to his pre-injury form would help the Jets considerably. With 3 of this year's starting 5 in contract years, the long-term situation with the offensive line is not as secure. The Jets made a franchise-changing move by acquiring Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay this offseason. 2021 second overall pick quarterback Zach Wilson will sit behind Rodgers this year. The Jets front office hopes that seeing Rodgers in action will accelerate Wilson's development professionally. Rodgers had an off year in Green Bay last year, but Packers were trying to break in 2 rookie wide receivers after they traded away Devontae Adams. Rodgers was also banged up with nagging injuries last season. If Rodgers performs with the efficiency he did in Green Bay, the Jets will be substantially better in the passing game. In a down year, Rodgers completed 64.6% of his passes with a 26-12 touchdown to interception ratio. The Jets quarterbacks last year combined for a 56.9% completion rate and had a 15-14 touchdown to interception ratio. In fantasy football, Rodgers is the quarterback 13 on ESPN, and his average draft position is 113, which puts him in as a 10th rounder. If Rodgers is healthy, he can easily be better than the fantasy quarterback 13. Last year, he was 12th in total points. His points per game was 25th. Having Rodgers as your fantasy starting quarterback will probably not deliver you a championship in 2023. It can help your team if you platoon quarterbacks or if your number 1 gets hurt. The wide receivers in New York are set up pretty well this year. Garrett Wilson returns from a great rookie year as the Jets' number 1 wide receiver. Former Green Bay wide receiver Allen Lazard, who already knows the offense, will be a steady number 2. Mecole Hardman was brought in on a 1-year deal from Kansas City. Considering what Garrett Wilson did with an inaccurate group of passers like the Jets had last year, his potential with an Aaron Rodgers is almost indescribable. Garrett Wilson is talented enough to be the best wide receiver in football this season. He was wide receiver 17 in total points and wide receiver 27 in average points per game. Wilson is the wide receiver 11 in drafts currently. He's projecting to go as the 24th player taken, which is the last pick of the second round. I think that this price is fair for Wilson in 2023. If you have the number 1 pick in your league, you can pair the number 1 pick with Garrett Wilson and the top player of the 3rd round for a serious team nucleus. Allen Lazard is the wide receiver 49 on ESPN in draft position, and he's currently player 123, which is an 11th round pick. In Green Bay, Lazard was the wide receiver 35 in total points, and he was wide receiver 37 in points per game. Considering that he will still be playing with the same quarterback, wide receiver 49 is a steal for Lazard. Lazard will have a smaller role than he did in Green Bay last year, but he should be better than an 11th rounder. Mecole Hardman is the wide receiver 78 on ESPN.com, and he's currently not getting drafted. He was the 42nd wide receiver in average points per game in Kansas City, but he was out of action after week 9. If Aaron Rodgers is cooking early in the season, Hardman may be worth a look as a waiver wire ad. The Jets bring back Tyler Conklin at tight end. Conklin was actually second on the team in receiving yards behind Garrett Wilson. Conklin is currently the 24th tight end taken, the 168th player overall, making him a 14th rounder. Breece Hall's rookie year was going well enough to where he would have won Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL and was done after week 7. He was the number 5 running back in points per game. He was a dual threat running back with 19 receptions in 7 games. Breece is currently the running back 18 on ESPN, going at pick 41, which is a 4th rounder. Drafting Hall after an ACL tear is a little bit of a risk because the first year back from an ACL usually is a down year for a running back. Refer to the Saquon Barkley injury. It took Saquon 2 years to be back to his old self. No one getting drafted after Breece is very tempting to me. The group ahead of him includes Kenneth Walker, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aaron Jones, and Najee Harris. I think that his draft position is about right. Zonovan Knight and Michael Carter were running backs 55 and 56 in points per game last year when they took over the position. Michael Carter is currently the running back 57 drafted. Look out for rookie Israel Abanikanda as a sleeper if he beats out Carter in camp. He was a very explosive player at Pitt, whom the Jets took at pick 143 in the draft as a 5th rounder. The fantasy prospects for the Jets have to be much better than they were before the Aaron Rodgers acquisition. In 2023 redraft leagues, all the Jets starting playmakers will have a fantasy football impact. Rodgers and Hall may cost a little more than they should. Allen Lazard is a tremendous value at wide receiver. The surest thing is Garrett Wilson. Israel Abanikanda is the name you need to learn over the summer. The Jets have a good defense with some promising talent maturing on offense. To bring in an accomplished quarterback on the level of an Aaron Rodgers may not create the number 1 offense in the NFL, but the offense should be good. I think that 3 teams are going to be in the mix in the AFC East this year. Buffalo's Super Bowl moment may have eluded them last year. Miami needs Tua to be healthy, and New England is not as good as the Jets. The Jets are good enough to where if they get a few breaks, they can find themselves as division champions just like Minnesota was in the NFC North last season. If you like today's coverage of the New York Jets offense, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.